So I'm gonna react to one black radical versus 20 black conservatives. And I'm gonna go through the entire thing. So just so you guys know, this is gonna be a long as hell video. Anyways, let's get into this.
Black culture is toxic, and let's get on the fact that there's no fathers in the black home. Let's talk about that.
Stop.
Who do
You're
we vote
talking
for?
to a
Oh,
radical,
God.
not a Democrat. The radical mind state simply is living opposite to our colonizers, which is an
God.
imperialist, capitalist mind state, and radical blacks do not believe that that is any way for us to have liberation. Well, here's
So
what
when
you
you-
all keep
no,
doing.
no, no,
You
no,
keep
just
interrupting me when I'm talking, and you don't want to hear the
I will say that is an interesting intro. It's definitely enough to hook people onto it because, enough crazy stuff happened that you're like, what the fuck brought this conversation to this point?
point
the
that I'm
point
going to
you're-
make.
the point that
And
you're
yet you want
raising-
me to respect your point. And that's not how
Oh,
a debate
God.
works. If I show you respect, give me the respect back.
Oh, God.
I knew I was going to be surrounded by ignorance, but damn, let's go. Greetings.
Oh, God.
I am Amanda Seals, widely known as a comedian, an actress, a disruptor, an annoying person on the internet who always tells the truth.
Am a comedian. I've never heard of her. That actually probably explains this, like, whatever the hell this is. Because I don't see poor people running around with really weird suits like this. So I guess that explains it. But anyways, let's see this.
And I am now an artistic intellectual who commits myself to making art that educates. And today,
Oh, God.
I am surrounded by 20 black conservatives. My first claim is it is undeniable that reparations are just and necessary.
So before she already starts, I'll give an answer to that question, at least things that become really hard to answer throughout it, which is the first thing is everyone who's a slave owner died. So is it justified to put that burden it's not even on the children of them. It's the grandchildren or even the great-great-grandchildren of them. Is that fair? Is that justified? Does it only include people that were slave owners? Should it also exclude family members of people that fought and died in the Civil War for the North? Is that part of it also? Is that going to be a part of it? The other part is, haven't we repaid them back in other forms like affirmative action, like social welfare systems? Wouldn't those be some form of way considered reparations? And finally, the last part is, how is it going to be done? Because it's going to be an extremely hard process going back in time to figure out who was whose descendant. And that's also another problem. Is it going to exclude black people that recently came into America and only include the ones that had family there at the time? Because that's another legitimate question. There's too many things that have to be answered first before you could really talk about fully going through with something like that. Oop. Oh. And oh, God.
All right, reparations, fair, necessary. My question would be, who's going to get it? Why
Exactly.
would they get it? And how long are we going to sit here focusing on trying to get reparations? It's been how many years since slavery? 150.
Yep. 1865. That's also another one, which is all the people who had slaves are literally dead. That's also another really tough answer, which is you're kind of punishing the children of people who did bad things, even though they themselves never actually did it.
Years, 1865. Whenever there's a real thing that this country wants to do, they do it. Stop Asian hate. Okay,
Oh.
There's a problem with the Asian hate. Let's draft a bill, sign it, and it's done. Anything that needs to be done is done.
Okay, he could be talking about one of two things, either the Chinese Exclusion Act, or he could also be talking about, what was it? Just Japanese people turned into internment camps, because we were also fighting with Japan, so bad for America, and because we were fighting them at the time, some people were unnecessarily taken away and put in camps like that, which is a sad part of war. But let's see.
With us, it's a carrot they dangle in front of us that they don't really want to do. And it's not going to help. We need education, Oh, it's not going to help. No, it's not. We need education. Getting a check from the government is not going to do that. Ooh. And we need proper education. A lot of us go to these institutions where we're not really prepared, we're not really focused, and we don't get things that'll help us in the real world. So if you want to help Black people, a check from the government, from our tax dollars is going to get raised, because let's be clear, everybody in here is Black. We all American, we all got to pay taxes. It'll go to that. So I don't really see how this is going to help us at all.
Okay.
He did have some valid points in it, which is it definitely is going to increase taxes, because pretty much every government program, that's essentially what taxes do. And I know some people call it free money or whatever, but in reality, it comes from someone, or it comes from them printing more money. And those are the two major ways the government can get money for certain things they want to implement.
Well, first I'll start with, it will help on even just a moral level. The reality is that the United States has become very comfortable with the fact that it does not consider Black people equal, and it shows that.
Actually, that's not true. We had the 13th to 15th Amendment, which entirely are based upon actually making Black people equal. While there were other things that eventually happened, like literacy tests and Jim Crow laws, thankfully we also got those repealed. There is that section of people that just didn't want to let Black people, be allowed to integrate into the government or societies. It happened mostly in southern states, and yeah, that is also another part of it. And we also were able to get that dealt with. So the fact is, we did deal with it. Now, the other thing is, because if Black people weren't equal, you wouldn't be able to see like this many Black celebrities in movies that just are there. Like, if they were never equal, why would they be allowed the chance to even go into a big budget film or have a certain opinion that not many people like?
In many ways, that I'm sure we will discuss over the course of today. But ultimately, there has not been a committed, concerted effort to shifting the mindset around the use of Black people as a labor force in this nation. Back when it was slavery, now in the use of slavery as slave labor in prisons. So on a basic.
Actually, this is another part, which is if you're in prison, technically, if you did something like murder, rape, something like that, you should not really be allowed to have all your rights. They can take them away and they can make you do stuff. Like, not everyone in jail deserves to, have that. It's just some people do.
At the cultural level, reparations are an act of repair. They are an effort to say, our bad, we see you now. We have seen that done with Japanese folks who were put in internment camps. We have seen that done with Jewish folks. We have seen that done even in the case of slave owners who received reparations. When it comes to the...
Wait. President Lincoln signed a law in 1862 that provided slave owners in D.C. up to $300 for every slave they freed. These payments were meant to end slavery in D.C. and granted freedom to 2,989 people. And the former slaves received nothing for their previous work, nor to help them transition. Oh, that's a little sad fact.
Use of tax dollars to pay reparations, and this is going to come up a lot today. It's a matter of values, right? For me, my value system circulates around the fact that I think that as a community, we should all be engaged in repair for our community. So I don't think there should be any problem with there being tax dollars spent at repairing consistent efforts that have been made to impede Black people. So the reparations you're talking about are not just related to slavery. There's reparations that have been discussed all over this nation in different communities as it relates to particular massacres, as it relates.
Yeah, the thing about her is she's getting a little too intense and she's talking a bit too much. But it's sad that these guys already raised their flag. And it's only because this guy's being more passive that I feel like they're doing it.
To redlining and the impediment of Black people to earn wealth by having property. There's been impediments in various ways that can be repaired. And I want to also just add, there's reparations that are considered a cash payment from a government. There's also the version of reparations that shows up in how funds are applicated to specific groups of people. So there's multiple ways in which what you're stating cannot happen could very well happen.
Okay, now as far as the money going towards certain things is going to help us, let's look at Baltimore public schools. They get, I think, the third most money per pupil in the US of A, like $15,000 per student, but yet the majority of the population that comes from that environment can't read. They're illiterate. So
here's a quick example, but in Illinois, a member of a teachers union, she said that private schools and charter schools were racist, even though they were outperforming them so drastically with the same kids in the same neighborhoods in the same area, completely and utterly. And the worst part was, while she called them racist, she put her own daughter in a charter school while actively lying to like parents about things like that. Which is, sometimes it's not money that fixes it. Sometimes it's getting rid of the wrong people that are taking advantage of people's goodwill that is the problem.
So we're dumping money on the situation, yes, but yet we're not getting the results we should get from it. Money's not going to help the thing. We need to just focus on what we need to focus on. As far as black people being labor force of this country, what else are we doing? We got 25% of us on some kind of government assistance. 1 out of every few black men will go to jail.
Black people accounted up for 12% of the population, but accounted for 26% of the jail population.
We got to do something. We got to work with our hands, work with tools, do something, because we're not doing much of anything. And also, one more piece here. Reparations, again, always anchored in front of us, never going to happen. As long as you've been living, as long as I've been living, as long as everybody been living, they say, we need it, and it never gets done. One more piece.
You just said one more piece, and you're adding another one.
I promise.
So hold on to it.
One
Hold
more
on
piece.
to it.
I'm gonna land the plane. I'm gonna land the plane. I promise.
Oh God, I don't know why that guy's. I admit that's kind of funny the way he's doing like that.
Promise. Reparations is a thing. Like I said, it's a carrot that's dangling in front of us. They're never really going to get it done. And if it was going to get done, it would have already been done. It's just something that they're using to try and make us stay Democrat. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, Democrats are not doing reparations either. This is nonpartisan. This is black partisan, baby. Okay?
Well,
this is nonpartisan.
Who do we vote for? Who do we vote for 93% of the time? There's no incentive.
To be quite honest, you're not talking to a Democrat. You're talking to a radical.
Okay, but let's
land this plane very quickly.
Who do we vote for?
Let's land this plane quickly.
Who do we
You're
vote
talking
for?
to a radical, not a Democrat.
Okay, you are your own person.
Let me tell you something
now.
I don't know what they told you, but if they told you that cutting me off is how we're going to get clicks, stop it now.
I mean, she's doing the same shit. I mean, to be honest, they're both kind of doing it to each other.
No. That's not how we're going to. That's not how we're going to enter.
We having a debate.
A debate does not require continuously cutting somebody off.
Okay, no problem.
Now, I do want to.
That's what you're doing too.
You're stating things as it relates to how money is not fixing a problem without acknowledging the fact that the problem doesn't exist in a vacuum, and that there are so many other factors that are determining how that money is getting spent to impede it from actually fixing a problem.
Actually, this point is actually pretty good. Funny enough, she's using the same argument I did, with the biggest difference being her way of allocating it would be completely different than mine.
You can put all the money into Baltimore public schools you want, but if you are also putting all this money into policing, into communities that are not getting resources, then you are also creating your own conundrum. The other part of this is that when you're saying they,
policing
the they is a broad context. And the last part of this that I will say is that you keep saying they're dangling this in our face. They're dangling in our face. Slavery lasted for 400 years.
So that's roughly only 89 years it existed in America. That entire point is absolutely false.
It hasn't even been 400 years since slavery. So should we be only fighting for a quarter of the time to get repair?
All right, I'm so sorry. You've been voted out by the majority. All right. Please return to your seat.
Okay.
Oh, damn. That guy was fast as fuck.
My name's Matt Nuclear.
Hello, Matt. Matt Nuclear?
Matt Nuclear, yes.
Matt Nuclear, give me a better handshake than that. Let's do it.
That's a good last name.
Conversation with a beautiful black woman like yourself. This is nice, beautiful arena here. I disagree that reparations are necessary. I think the most important thing that's necessary right now for the black community would be the stopping of violence, especially black on black violence. I don't see how reparations is going to solve anything. You can give everyone here like a $50,000, especially people that are in the streets who are committing violent crimes consistently, a $50,000 check. It's not going to fix anything. It's not going to increase the median household income in the next 10 years by 10% or 20%. For example, we have the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. We prevented Chinese people from getting citizenship and even entering the country. We discriminated against.
Yeah, that's the same thing I talked about earlier.
against them and basically put them under apartheid, even here in the United States, yet they have the highest median household income. How is that possible? How come they don't complain and feel entitled consistently to beg for reparations and beg for this when they are killing each other 90% of the time, which is the rate that black people kill each other, according to the FBI?
Yeah, that's another thing, which is, but yeah, that's pretty valid, which is those people went through something similar, and why aren't they complaining about it? And actually, obviously, it's not exactly a one-to-one comparison, but it is something kind of close to it.
Oh, young Matt.
Yet white people are the oppressors.
I'm not sure where your education came from, but they lied to you.
Oh my God, what is the first thing she thought of attacking was his education? Like, what the hell? That's kind of scummy, to be honest.
Stats don't lie, though.
Statistics lie all the time. So let's start there,
God.
particularly when the statistics are coming from the sources that gain from the statistics being shown a different way. So if you're going to start your argument on stats don't lie, you've already lost the argument. They lie all the time. One,
okay, so statistics don't matter.
Comparing Chinese people who are immigrants that made a choice to come to the United States and comparing the continued effort of black people to ground themselves in a nation that continues to make impediments for them to show and live and exist in their true citizenship is a false equivalency.
I don't believe.
So about that, the way she said it was absolute garbage, but I think she meant to say that people were unwillingly brought here versus people that came here and were just forced into something like that. And then there's also the fact that some of their own people were the ones that sold them into slavery in the first place, which is, it's fucked up, but every culture had slavery at some point. As long as you go back far enough, you'll find slavery at some point.
That happens at all. No one here is in.
Are you acting right now? Do you really believe
I'm telling
this?
the truth.
Oh,
There's no systemic racism that I've experienced here in America. What system is racist? I think the only racism we've actually seen recently, systemic racism that we've seen, is the application of systemic racism against white people. The University of Western Washington, for example, has been trying to segregate dormitories, using black-only dormitories because black people feel safer amongst each other. But they're more likely to kill each other than white people are ever to kill them. That's just the truth. You have King Von rapping about killing other black men. Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor when black men are more likely to kill me?
Oh my God, this is scary. Yeah. You need to think about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion. So let's check that now. Okay. So on a basic level, we have to understand that systemic racism is grounded in the realities that black people have not been considered an equal human being in this country since its onset. So there's simply no way to make the argument that there isn't systemic racism, and we have seen in very clear ways the system operate in an organically racist way. Do not cut me off.
Bro, what the hell? He didn't even say anything.
And we talk about systemic racism, we can start with even the fact that redlining, which was implemented to discriminate black communities. Are you shaking your head that redlining doesn't exist?
No, I'm saying I don't think it really existed at all. I mean, no, I don't think so at all.
So it does exist. And stating that it doesn't exist doesn't make it no longer exist. Redlining absolutely exists. It is not something that's being made up. It's an empirical fact. And there are realities.
It's a fact, but they got rid of it later on.
That exist because of redlining. We know that school systems are related to the way that property taxes are affecting the school systems. If a school system is not getting the same property value as the property taxes allow it, then it's not going to have the same efficacy at allowing for students to be able to get what they deserve. When we talk about systemic racism, we have to acknowledge that these private prisons are literally built based on the test scores of school students in third grade. So if you are literally building prisons with the onset of, okay, if these people are not reaching a certain reading level, then we know that they're going to go down a prison industrial pipeline where we can use their free labor. Then how is that not systemic? And if you want to
stop them from entering prisons,
how are you going to stop people from entering prisons if your goal is to get?
The goal is proper law enforcement, and then after that, getting people off drugs, having certain people get help they deserve, but if they did something like extraordinarily terrible, leave them in prison, and then after that, fix the community. The best way is first getting rid of crime, then you can focus on a lot of the other things that affect that community.
Get them into prison.
Sure, make them try to be more like Ben Carson than be like King Von. That's very simple.
So how does King Von happen? How does King Von happen?
King Von had, hold on,
actually,
let me
no,
finish.
let me land the plane. We're talking about reparations, and what you're doing is actually just trying to get this conversation off the facts. And the fact is, reparations are just and necessary because on a basic level, Black people built this country, and the country continues to.
Yeah, but the thing is, eventually the North realized that if they kept going into the South and only taking over areas, the South would just continue taking it back. So instead of playing that bullshit that eventually led to nothing useful happening, they decided just to burn everything down. Definitely hurt the South a lot after they were brought back into the Union.
Thrive off of the labor that Black people put into this country. And it would behoove you, young man, to really understand the way that your ancestors put blood, sweat, and tears into this nation that is still living off of those blood, sweat, and tears. And let me also add, there are reparations and then there is remunerations. Do you know the difference?
Yes, but can I finish one point that I wanted to say? Ben Carson's cousins were killed at a very young.
I'm so sorry. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Oh, that's sad.
I hope some of y'all are acting. I really do. We in LA, and I hope some people in here are acting.
Bro, this lady does not know that rural areas exist. I guess this lady doesn't know that there actually are Republicans that exist in California. Obviously, they're not the majority, but there's somewhere in California.
Oh, what's that on your chain?
This is a coin from Israel.
Lord have mercy.
Yes, you gotta go.
That's a choice that you are making for yourself.
Yes. The thing with the whole reparations thing, and I don't know, we're probably close to the same age, so maybe you can't call me.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
I am 44.
Oh, really?
God,
you look young.
Thank you. That's what water and keeping stress out of your life will do.
Really?
Really? You look like you're the type of person to bring more stress into somebody's life.
Liberal positions are real stressful.
By the way, I wouldn't know. I'm not a liberal. Carry on.
Well, it's the liberal position because conservatives believe in hard work. We believe in going to work and working for what you got, not asking for handouts from people who never had slaves. Some of the people that you're asking for money from never had slaves. And let's talk about the fact there were also Black people that had slaves. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's true. There were actually like some people that had slaves that were Black. It's not like race actually creates complete unity because think about it. White people, if a white person could exploit another white person they would take advantage of it. And there were some Black people that also did that. Race isn't something that generally creates this unity that, oh, we agree with everything, we're completely cool with each other. This is one of those things that, like, a lot of people say this is what brings us together, but the reality is ideas bring people together, whereas race is more of a secondary thing usually. Because you could have two people of the same race that don't believe in anything similar at all.
If you want to talk about that, how is that fair? If I'm a white person and my family fall on the side of the Union, why should I have to pay for slaves when this whole country was never all racist? Some of the founding fathers were abolitionists, and they believed they hated slavery, and they actually put things in the Declaration of Independence and things too because they believed that there'll be a future where there would be a Black president one day, or that.
I'll tell you this. George Washington, he cut the Atlantic slave trade, which was the way that we were able to buy slaves, when he was in office in America. A lot of people realized, hey, the eventual end of slavery is going to come because importing labor is no longer something that's acceptable. So all they had to deal with was the amount of slaves that were left in America. And George Washington knew this would eventually lead to slavery finally being answered by a president further in the future. And the fact that he was able to think of something like that was amazing on his part, and definitely something that shows how much trust Washington had in the future of the nation, even if it wasn't controlled specifically by him. But a cool little fact about Washington, he knew this shit was he knew it was gonna end, and him and a lot of the other founding fathers were preparing for it.
There would be people in leadership that were black. There was people in the North who helped with the Underground Railroad and fought with the Union. So why is that fair for people who never had slaves, who fought against slavery, to have to pay for people that had slaves?
One, from my understanding, you are more interested in preserving the fairness of those who didn't have slaves than the fairness of those who are the descendants of slaves.
Oh God, she turned a legitimate question into one of those tactics where the person obviously tries to make it sound as horrible as possible, using emotional manipulation to either make other people attack them or take advantage of the other person's emotions. This was a piece of shit move by her, 100%. Like, she didn't even listen to the question. She just turned it into something else that it never was in the first place.
That is priority to you than finding a fair way to accommodate those who have been the descendant of slaves.
Well, our ancestors wasn't asking for handouts. They were asking for equal opportunity. And we have equal opportunity in this country. We had a black president, just in case you didn't know.
Yep.
We had a black president and we had a black vice president. I think she was black. They said she was black. I don't know. So we had a black president, and you know who voted for that black man? White people, because you can't win a popular election in this country without white people. So Barack Obama is the product of white people. So let's get off this thing where
Not entirely, but to a certain extent. Because a lot of them did vote for him.
America is so racist. What's making America so racist is people that continue to talk about racism and continue to focus on racism.
That's true.
Instead of focusing on unity and bringing our country forward. People that have this liberal mindset are infecting our communities, black people, and making us victims and not victors. I refuse to embrace a victim mentality because that's not what our grandparents and Harriet Tubman and those people fought for. They fought for equal opportunity.
Oh, I actually like this guy. I actually do like this guy's point. He's going pretty hard on her.
Harriet Tubman's name in vain, baby.
Oh,
Please.
They said the Lord's name in vain. The Lord's name.
Harriet Tubman was literally saving her family and others from slavery.
Yep.
Yeah. You know who helped her?
That's
White
true.
people.
You know who
That
helped
also
her?
is
They were on the Underground Railroad. Come on in.
No, you know who helped her?
Come on in.
You know who helped her?
God and Harriet.
People who benefit from white supremacy.
Why would people who want to benefit from white supremacy want to help take a slave from the South and put them in the North where it's free, where slavery is not allowed? Like, how does that make any logical sense? Woman, what the hell? Okay, that point was there's no other way to say it other than that point was so retarded. Like, how did she ever, you know what? I'm not even gonna put logic behind it. That was such a horrible statement that it you know what? I'm just gonna skip over it. It's so dumb that it's so dumb and ridiculous that it makes absolutely zero sense whatsoever.
One of the things
It's a lie. White supremacy is a lie.
No, sir,
It's
that's
a
simply
lie.
not
There's
true.
no such. I mean,
If that were not the case, then we wouldn't see the continued effort of colonialism and white people placing themselves in positions of power when they do not have the power.
Because their culture, black culture is toxic. The black culture is toxic. We have produced a culture that is toxic. And let's get on the fact that there's no fathers in the black home. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Stop.
Let's talk about that.
None of this is gonna work if y'all are just gonna sit here and make up shit.
Oh, yep, this lady off the... Oh, yeah, he definitely pissed her off with that statement. Oh, congratulations, man, you earned a goddamn trophy. You beat her with her own tactics, and, dude, she is unhappy about that shit. Bro, that statement sent so much shockwaves through her body, her ancestors probably felt it. Holy crap, this man single-handedly pissed her off this badly. This man successfully made her unhinged. I can tell. She has the eyes like she is pissed off, and she does not want to talk with this man anymore.
Not gonna work. No, a debate has to be in facts.
You're
You are
putting off
literally
emotional liberalism
I am
right
not
now.
putting off emotional liberalism. You're putting off
God.
unfounded lies
That's what y'all
based
do. Y'all
in
start saying
conservatism.
misinformation. Remember they
It
did the
is
misinformation thing all summer where everything
Look at this
conservatives
man.
did. They said
You're carrying
misinformation.
a chain
God.
around your neck of an
Misinformation.
apartheid nation that actively wants to harm black people and
What about the
non-Jewish people.
apartheid? What
Oh
about,
my
Let me bring
God.
it
What about
back.
when
Let
black
me bring
people
it
were
back.
selling black people
Let me
in
bring it.
Africa
That was not
and
happening
put
in the
them in
context that
cages,
you're saying.
Oh, God.
And they were selling
Let's
their
bring
own
it
people.
back.
Black
I
people
like
still
this
sell
guy.
their own people today too. By
I don't
the
know
way,
if I'm gonna last.
We're selling our own
I
people
can't.
today
I don't know
too.
if I'm gonna
You
last.
probably won't last with me.
I won't because your
Damn.
ignorance is so
See,
overwhelming.
y'all, that's liberals. Y'all start name calling when y'all
No,
getting
it's
defeated
not
in
name
an argument.
calling. You won't have an argument because you keep cutting me off.
Oh, well, that's fine. If they don't let me come
You
back
won't
over,
even.
I made my
you won't.
point.
You didn't make your.
He
point.
did make his
You
point.
haven't
And
made
I'm
your
okay
point.
with being-
And let
Oh,
me just
she's
tell you about your
butthurt.
point. You started off saying we believe in hard work.
Yeah.
And we believe in being compensated.
Reparations is not though. Reparations is
Oh
not
my
hard
God.
work. It's stealing. It's Robin Hood.
You said
Bro,
you believe
this
in hard
lady's
work.
pissed off.
And you believe in being compensated for hard work.
Yes.
Were slaves compensated for their work?
They weren't compensated for their work, but why should
That-
people who are sitting at home playing video games, smoking marijuana,
Are you sitting at
be
home playing a
giving
video game?
checks?
Are
But
you
no, the
sitting at
people that
home
they-
playing a video
the
game?
people that they're wanting
Am I
reparations
sitting at home
for-
playing a
Yeah.
video game?
Most race issues are actually just class issues. Race is a secondary factor, but if you get rid of some class issues, most race issues will just fizzle out normally. Bro, she's coping hard. This man got her that bad. Holy crap. He's gonna be living rent-free in her head for the next 30 days. Holy shit.
No.
The people
And
they
I don't
want
know
reparations
I don't
for.
know who these people are that you're talking about because the majority of the black community
God.
is not sitting at home playing video games.
The majority of the black
Where are you
community is
getting
doing a
that
lot of
statistic?
things.
Where are you
A lot
getting
of
that
things is not
statistic?
right.
Pause.
No, why did you get rid of him? He was cooking. He was cooking. This was the wrong decision, man. All of you guys fucked up. All of you guys screwed up, man. Keeping him with her was the best thing, man. Hell no. All of you fucked up by getting rid of this man. He was cooking. He was cooking her so bad. She got her panties in a twist, man. Oh, getting rid of... Man, this is single-handedly the worst decision in this entire episode, and I haven't even watched the whole thing.
You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
hell
I knew I
no.
was going to be surrounded by ignorance, but damn. Let's go.
Bro, he was cooking. Oh,
Hello. My hand's wet from the bottle.
My hands are sweaty because
Okay.
I'm nervous. We both got sweaty
Got it.
hands.
Oh, God.
So I just wanted clarity because I think it'd be helpful. You said radical. I wanted just clarity on that. And then also with the reparations, you said it's not just money, it's other things. I just want to know, like, what do you see as like the grand picture of what would help?
The grand picture of what would help.
Of
what?
reparations, like what does that look like to you?
Oh, great. Reparations, what reparations looks like to me
They
is a
have way too
combination of
little
reparations and remunerations. And reparations are about repair for damages that have been caused based on harm. Remunerations is a monetary response to work that has not been paid for. So if you come and paint my house and I don't pay you, you can take me to court and get remunerations for the work that you have done. So
the only problem with that is that you never worked in slavery, so yeah, the big problem with that is they're all dead. So it's really hard going to court over it because all of them are literally dead. Like, it's sad that they never got it. It's sad that the ones that never got anything like that never did. But, you know, you can't do anything about it. The dead can't speak in court. That's just fact.
we're actually owed both in this nation as Black people. And there are incredibly just clear-cut records that show the buying and selling and purchasing of slaves, the work that was done, also the intellectual property that was stolen from slaves, right? Because there was so much inventing that was happening. And there is also quite a bit of other reparations that are being discussed as it relates to property being stolen, as it relates to, again, redlining
There is an
and the
argument for
inability
that.
for Black people to get loans, etc. And these impediments being solely based on their race.
As far as like discrimination.
Yes, like they're being solely based on their race, that not being being about anything other than you're black, so you can't, right? And so when it's very clear cut like that, there are very distinctive responses to that can be done through a cash payment, as well as through measures that are being done to create funds for creating resources and responses like housing, like access to food, access to education, etc.
Actually, we already have lots of programs for those things, so it's not like those do not exist.
That certain communities have not had access to because of the fallout from these things.
And I just had a quick question for clarifying. With the funds, I'm wondering, where do you think those should come from? Like the actual money, like is that we're raising money? Is it taxes? Like what does that look like?
Well, I think
99% of the time it's going to be taxes, because there is no other way for the government to make money in that way.
what they've been doing with these different reparations committees is they're looking at, all right, well, how much has this city or how much has this town or how much has this country gained from the estimated amount that was stolen from these people, right? So they're looking at like, what is this wage amount? For instance, like if you look at during that time, okay, what was the wage amount that a hired worker would get for this same work? All right. And so we're looking at how was that wage not provided and what is that pool that is being created? And then we're looking at, all right, where can that wage come from in terms of how has that wage been applied? So there are spaces where this is very...
She's using a lot of... The problem right now is she's using way too many words and way too many long sentences when they have literally less than 1 minute on the clock currently.
Clear. I think the last thing that we asked about was the difference between liberal and radical.
Yeah, please.
Ultimately, the concept of liberalism is really just not Republican, right? I mean, that's essentially what it's become.
Technically, no. That's not what a liberal is. Technically, what she said is actually completely wrong. Liberalism is people who who want social welfare as well as accept new ideas over time. It isn't a one-size-fits-all thing.
Disagree with that, but I understand that's your stance.
There's a very generic concept of what liberalism is in the sense that it's simply saying that I am a part of the bipartisan mind frame, but I am not a Republican. It's a mindset. It doesn't always show up in action, but it's a mindset that says, you know, I don't support extremes in certain ways, or you know, I want the government to show up in certain ways. You know, I know there's a conservative point of view that says there should be less government, but even though it just says that, the action is very different. The radical mind state simply is living opposite to our colonizers, which is an imperialist, capitalist mind state, and radical blacks do not believe that that is any way for us to have liberation.
Thank you for explaining that.
And thank you for being very respectful.
We were told
that was a long-ass 2 minutes. Holy shit.
To be respectful. We're not your enemies.
Thank you, my good sis.
Surrounded is now a podcast.
Oh no.
Available wherever you listen. Search Surrounded, plug in, and stay part of the conversation. Anywhere, anytime.
That's pretty... Yeah, that makes sense.
My next claim is that black on black crime is a result of underinvestment and over-policing.
Anyways, I'm gonna stop here because this video is already ridiculously long. Maybe I'll do the other parts, but I just wanted to do this small part of it because this is just long as hell.